Let's be brutally honest, the modern dating scene is chaotic. We live in a world where attention is cheaper than ever. A like, a heart emoji, a wide text at 1 a.m. That's all it takes to boost someone's ego. And let's be real, a lot of women are swimming in that non-stop pool of validation. Meanwhile, men are out here chasing like it's a sport, competing for attention, begging for crumbs, trying so hard just to be noticed. And what happens? She ghosts, she breadcrumbs. She keeps you around just enough to feed her ego, but never enough to give you anything real. But here's where it flips. The moment you stop caring, not out of bitterness, but from a place of calm confidence, everything changes. Suddenly she starts paying attention. She checks your story. She texts you first. She asks why you're quiet. She laughs a little harder, looks a little longer, and wants to see you more. Why? Because the less you care, the more she chases. This isn't a mind game. It's not manipulation. It's energy. It's the natural shift in power when you stop putting her on a pedestal and start standing firmly on your own. This video isn't for guys who want tricks to get the girl. It's for the men who are done trying too hard, tired of proving themselves, finally ready to reclaim their self-worth, and watch what happens when they shift the focus inward. You're about to uncover 10 powerful psychological, emotional, and behavioral reasons why the less you care, the more she chases. These are not hacks, these are hard truths. So buckle up. Because once you understand this, you'll never look at dating the same again. 1. Scarcity turns you into a prize. Let's be real. People don't value what's always available. And in today's world, most men are way too available. They text her all day. They comment on every photo. They drop whatever they're doing just to get a reply. And what does that do? It tells her you have nothing better to do. It tells her that your time, your attention, your energy, they're cheap. But when you become scarce, when you pull back, when you stop giving unlimited access, something powerful happens. She starts to notice. She starts to wonder, why isn't he texting me like before? What's he up to? That curiosity is the seed of attraction. Scarcity doesn't mean ignoring her. It means being selective. It means living a full, focused life where you don't always have time to reply instantly. It means having purpose, hobbies, a mission. Things that naturally make you unavailable sometimes. And that unavailability makes you valuable. Think of it like diamonds. Why are they considered precious? Because they're rare. Because not everyone can have them. But if diamonds were lying around on every street corner, no one would care. The same logic applies to your presence. When you stop making her the center of your universe, you become the center of your own. And that shift in energy flips everything. She starts chasing, investing, caring more, not because you played a game, but because you finally remembered your worth. Scarcity turns you into a prize. Not because you're pretending to be one, but because you are one. You just forgot. Now it's time to act like it. 2. Mystery activates her imagination. Let's get one thing straight. Predictability kills attraction. If she knows every move you're going to make, every word you're going to say, and every time you're going to text, where's the excitement? Where's the tension? Mystery is fuel for imagination, and imagination is where attraction begins. Most guys overshare way too fast. They spill their whole life story within the first few days, send constant updates, and leave nothing for her to discover. But women don't fall for what they're told. They fall for what they feel. And mystery creates feelings. When you don't give her the full picture, when you leave some things unsaid, her mind starts to fill in the gaps. She wonders what you're doing. She replays your conversations. She analyzes your silence. And in that space, desire grows. Not because you're trying to manipulate her, but because you're not throwing everything at her feet. You don't owe her your full schedule. You don't need to explain every mood. You don't need to text every hour. A man who holds back a little, who keeps parts of his life sacred, becomes more attractive, not less. Why? Because she has to earn access. And that journey of earning is what builds emotional investment. Mystery doesn't mean being cold or rude. It means being grounded. It means speaking with intention, acting with confidence, and not feeling the need to always prove something. Let her wonder. Let her lean in. Let her imagination do the work for you. 3. Purpose-driven men are irresistible. There's something magnetic about a man on a mission. A man who's focused, driven, unshakable. Women can sense it, and they can't help but respect it. Because purpose isn't just about goals. It's about energy. It's about presence. It's about being rooted in something deeper than just getting the girl. When a man is chasing a dream, building something bigger than himself, he doesn't have time to be needy. He's not anxiously waiting for a reply. He's not obsessing over her stories. He's not trying to entertain her boredom. He's busy building. And that alone makes him more desirable. Why? Because women are biologically wired to be drawn to leaders, to men who can provide, protect, and guide. A purpose-driven man embodies that. He doesn't crumble when she pulls back. He doesn't lose himself trying to win her. His identity is rooted in something solid, and that creates a gravitational pull. Most guys think attention gets the girl, but in truth, purpose does, because purpose creates confidence. It creates discipline. It creates mystery. It creates value. And those are the things women chase. So if you want her to chase, stop chasing her. Start chasing your goals. Let her see that you're not just another guy with a crush. You're a man on a mission. And if she wants to come along for the ride, she'll need to earn her seat next to you. 4. Her ego can't handle your indifference. Let's be honest. Many women are used to attention. DMs, likes, compliments. It's constant. So when a man doesn't give her that instant validation, it shakes her. It pokes at her ego. And that discomfort creates curiosity. Your indifference isn't about being rude or passive-aggressive. It's about not being emotionally reactive. When she tries to test you, pulling away, flirting with others, ignoring texts, and you stay calm, unmoved, and unfazed, she starts to question her power. Most guys fall for the bait. They get jealous, start arguments, or try harder. But the man who doesn't flinch, he becomes an enigma. He becomes the one she can't quite figure out. And the human brain hates not having answers, especially when ego is involved. Women aren't used to men who don't crumble under pressure. So when you show emotional strength, when you stay grounded instead of getting triggered, it flips the dynamic. Now she's wondering if she's good enough. Now she's chasing your validation. Remember this: indifference is not disrespect. It's emotional control. It's being secure in yourself to the point where no test, no silence, no game can shake your frame. And once she sees that, her attraction skyrockets. 5. Detachment, emotional leadership. Want to know the most underrated trait in a man? Emotional leadership. That means being in control of your own emotions and creating a space where others feel safe in your presence. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care deeply, but you don't cling. You're connected, not controlled. And that energy is powerful, because women are emotional creatures. They feel deeply, and often they look to the man to be the anchor in the storm. When you're detached, you're not riding every emotional wave. You're calm when she's anxious, steady when she's reactive, clear when she's confused. That contrast creates trust. It creates polarity. It creates attraction. Most guys think passion comes from intensity. But real passion? It comes from polarity, from the masculine holding strong while the feminine flows. Detachment gives you that strength. So lead with your energy. Show up grounded. Don't react to every mood swing. Don't chase every high or low. Be the rock, and let her waves crash safely against you. That's emotional leadership. That's what keeps her coming back. 6. Time away builds value. Here's the hard truth. Constant presence kills mystery. When she always knows where you are, what you're doing, and that you're just a text away, she stops wondering. And when she stops wondering, she stops valuing. But time apart, it activates her imagination. It gives her space to miss you, to replay your conversations, to reflect on the moments you shared. It makes her realize how your presence feels. And that realization only happens when you're not around. Men who are always available become invisible. But men who step away with purpose, not out of anger or manipulation, but because they have a full life, become unforgettable. So go live, Travel, grind, build, reflect, disappear for a bit, and watch how her interest reignites. Not because you forced it, but because time apart created space for value to grow. 7. High standards change the game. Most men are out here begging for a chance. Any attention, any affection, any validation. But the man who holds himself to a higher standard, he flips the script. You're not looking for just any woman, you're evaluating, observing, asking yourself, does she align with my mission? Does she bring peace to my life? That mindset alone changes how you show up. When your standards are high, your energy changes. You're not rushing, you're not convincing, you're not afraid to walk away. And women feel that. They sense the difference between a man who needs them and a man who chooses carefully. And guess what? That makes you more desirable. Because now, your approval becomes valuable. Not because you're playing games, but because you actually value yourself. High standards protect your peace and force her to level up if she wants to stay in your world. 8. Silence speaks louder than words. Sometimes, the strongest move is no move at all. When you don't react, when you don't explain, when you let your silence do the talking, it says everything. Most guys panic in silence. They chase, they over-explain. They try to fix things, but the man who trusts himself enough to stay silent, he becomes powerful. Because silence makes her reflect. It forces her to sit with her own emotions. Did she cross a line? Did she pull back? Did she ghost? Cool. Let her sit in that silence. Let her feel what it's like not to have you. No drama, no chasing, just stillness. And in that stillness, something incredible happens. If she values you, she'll come back. If she doesn't, you just made room for someone better. Either way, your silence protects your dignity. Never underestimate the power of saying nothing. 9. Energy doesn't lie. You can say all the right things, post all the right quotes, pretend to be confident. But at the end of the day, your energy reveals the truth. Are you needy beneath the surface? Do you crave validation? Are you acting calm while secretly panicking? She feels that. Women are incredibly intuitive. They don't just listen to what you say, they feel what you are. So if you want to attract high-quality women, don't just change your words, change your energy. Heal, reflect, grow. Align yourself with purpose and peace. Because when your inner world is calm, grounded, and focused, your presence becomes magnetic. Energy is the language behind the words. Master it, and you won't have to chase anyone ever again. 10. Less you care, the more she does. Here's the paradox. Most men never understand. The less emotionally dependent you are, the more women become emotionally invested. When you stop trying to impress her, she gets curious. When you stop needing her attention, she starts giving it freely. When you stop chasing, she starts showing up. This doesn't mean you stop caring completely. It means you care with boundaries. You care from a place of strength, not desperation. You're fully capable of love, but you're not willing to lose yourself to get it. When you live like you are the prize, she feels it. She respects it, and she naturally starts to reciprocate. Because in the end, the one who needs less always holds the power. Be the man who doesn't need to try so hard. Let's tie it all together. In a world where most men chase, overgive, and over-explain, the man who pulls back, the man who leads with presence, the man who values himself, wins. Not because he plays games, but because he understands one truth. The less you care, the more they chase. When that less comes from strength, not insecurity. When you stop acting like she's the prize and start acting like you are, the entire dynamic flips. You become the one she thinks about. You become the one who stands out in a sea of validation dealers and approval seekers. So ask yourself, are you living for her attention or are you living for your mission? Because the second you shift your energy back to your purpose, your boundaries, your standards, she feels it. Women are intuitive. They pick up on energy. And when yours says, I'm good with or without you, that's when they lean in. You don't need to fake confidence. You need to build it. Through purpose, discipline, detachment, and truth. Be the man who doesn't need to prove anything. Be the man she remembers. Not because you begged for her love, but because you never needed it to validate who you are. If this message hit something real inside you, drop a comment, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and see you on the next one. Peace.